again, Jesus teaches his disciples, the last will be first, and the first will be last. And in today's context, Jesus is telling the story of the landowner who paid laborers the same, even though some had worked much longer and been at the task that was given them than the ones who arrived very late. And this is a challenge, but Jesus summarizes it with the last will be first and the first will be last. How do we interpret that? How do we understand that? I know many of us are cradle Catholics. We have been practicing and living the faith in sometimes very humble and very quiet ways. Others have suffered a lot. What happens when somebody at the very last years of their lives decides that they want to follow Christ in spite of them having ignored the call of the gospel or closed their ears and their eyes to the demands of being disciples, if they were to change? And this is where the challenge comes. What do we expect? What are our expectations of God? Certainly God has expectations of us. That's what we listen to, the challenges of the gospel. But we who, expect something of God, in this relationship that we have nourished, which we have developed, upon which our faith is founded, what are our expectations of God? Because in finding that, I hope that we will also put it into practice. This gospel reading today, it's the generosity of God. If we expect God to be generous with us, if we are going to be part of his family, part of the kingdom, one of the expectations of us will be that we will be generous. If we expect generosity and forgiveness of our sins, how generous are we in forgiving others? If we expect to be fed and nourished, how are we feeding and nourishing other people? If we expect to grow in grace, how do we help other people to grow in grace? Jesus, in speaking with his disciples in this way, kind of putting things upside down, offers a challenge for us to pause and to think about our own relationship with the Father and how it is that we use what we have received. Are we being generous in offering forgiveness? Are we willing to serve? Are we willing to love, even when it goes beyond where we are comfortable? The reaction of disciples in the Gospels sometimes echoes what goes on in our own minds and hearts. May we grow in the grace that we receive.